another banger.
Yes, we are back again. If you're just now tuning in, don't wait, don't hesitate. Hit that subscribe, like, comment, share, and turn on that bell. Because we are coming back to back to back. Well, bang. I'm talking about bang. You already know what it is. But without further ado, we finna go on getting this video real quick. What we doing today, sweetheart?
We got a reaction for you guys, but stop.
Stop. Yep. You.
Go in the description.
Yep.
Or just look right here.
Look right here.
And go follow us on our Instagrams because we are always on there. Go follow us on Instagram. Go show us some love and we will be showing love back. Okay. But today we got an NBA video. It's the Deadly Beast of NBA YoungBoy. So,
deadly.
we know one deadly, well, it's not deadly, I don't think, but we know one beef is TBG, right? Fredo Bang, but we don't know what these other beefs he's talking about, so.
You ready to get into it?
All right, guys.
Let's get it.
You want me to hit you?
Let's go.
Let's get it.
I guess now we know why they call Mr. T V.A. Baracus. And although his pockets have pledged never to go broke, sadly the same can't be said for his own neck. Clearly he wasn't a fan of Wu-Tang as a child, because NBA YoungBoy famously broke his neck whilst he was wrestling as a toddler. The serious injury actually required him to wear a full neck and head brace while his spine healed, which left the 3 iconic head scars that he has to this day.
Tiger stripes.
Wait, why you?
Them tiger stripes.
Why you gotta wear a head thing?
When you break your neck?
Yeah.
Because it's trying, I guess, to position it back.
But he just said something about his spine, though.
Yeah. You know, like the spine and
the
the neck.
Anyway, despite being a a young NBA YoungBoy was moving like a young Scarface after dropping out of school in the 9th grade and beginning his career as a jugger and finesser as a young boy. Unfortunately, he eventually found himself in a youth detention center for robbery, where he at least had some time to focus on lyrics for his future career as a rapper. When he was released, he ended up moving in with his estranged half-brother 3-3's family, and they would get back to finessing on the streets to pay for studio time. From there, YoungBoy got to producing music and dropped his first ever mixtape, Life Before Fame, around 2015. The mixtape included several different covers, most of which looked like a GTA Baton Rouge loading screen that had been drawn by a 6-year-old. And the tape featured...
Now, why you doing like that?
He wrong. He said a GTA load screen drawn by a 6. He out of there. Now, if he come back on you now,
yeah, you gonna be one of his deadly. You gonna be the deadly.
You gonna be the new beef.
Really had the skills to pay the bills early on. I mean, it's no toxic crew, but good effort. And well, it turned out that YoungBoy's talent at such a young age didn't go unnoticed, because that first mixtape, Life Before Fame, was actually released under the banner of TBG, which stands for Top Boy Gorilla, a crew with a storied history in the wild and dangerous streets of Louisiana's Baton Rouge. The crew was supposedly started by a deceased Louisiana native and affiliate of Boosie, Lil Ivy Smith. However, at this early stage in the game, YoungBoy was nothing more than a promising young prospect to these top boys, because the real crown jewels of the squad at this time were a couple of rappers known as G Money and Fredo Bang, who around this time were picking up steam with their song iPhone 6 alongside Boulevard Nell and YMM Captain. The track was a heartfelt anthem for all of the hustlers jugging off of the iPhone 6 or the Android bitch. But hey guys, never forget to share a thought for those 2003 hustlers that are still tracking off of a Nokia N-Gage with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 installed. Hell, you can tell YoungBoy was truly down with the TBG crew at this point, because he even appeared in the background of the iPhone 6 video, as well as at one point handing a Gucci bag to Fredo Bang. A moment that would honestly be inconceivable later on in what would eventually become a deadly beef. Now, as successful as everybody looks,
now I gotta go watch that video.
I can tell you they probably weren't making that money in the stock market. And as the story goes, these boys were flipping and finessing packs on the streets of Baton Rouge, and unfortunately soon some of that street beef would end up souring things on the music side, because the TBG crew supposedly had a beef going with another Baton Rouge crew called BBG, or Bottom Boy Gorillas. Gang, crew, clique, label, call them whatever you want, but BBG and TBG were certified ops. With a big rumour at one point going around that YoungBoy's cousin Boozilla, who was BBG, had run off with G Money from TBG's pack. Some people on the internet had even speculated that it was YoungBoy that had told G Money that Boozilla was responsible for this, after being pressed by him whilst YoungBoy was still repping TBG. This was suggested by G Money lyrics that would come much later.
So they saying NBA told on his cousin?
I guess.
On in this beef, where G Money had suggested that Boozilla wanted to murk YoungBoy over this drama. Meanwhile, as that personal beef was developing, another more professional beef was emerging between YoungBoy and the TBG crew. According to some, YoungBoy had gotten frustrated with the TBG label due to the fact that he wasn't necessarily getting the money or shine that he thought he deserved from the crew.
Yeah.
So him and 3-3 disbanded and started their own crew. NBA never broke again.
From day one, that's where NBA started, from like
me and him sitting on that porch, like really saying we wasn't trying to go broke no more.
And the formation of that crew was announced with a bang when YoungBoy dropped his earliest surviving music video, the aptly titled NBA. Though to be fair, that video was a very low quality affair, much more pee-wee hoop practice than the National Basketball Association. And by December the 1st, 2015, YoungBoy is going at it alone under his own NBA banner and beginning to drop sneak disses towards his former crew TBG. On the intro of his first truly independent NBA mixtape, Mind of a Menace, he dropped several lines that were directed towards TBG, suggesting that they envied him and that he wasn't willing to work under someone else's administration. Then on the follow-up mixtape, Mind of a Menace 2, he continued to drop shade on TBG, suggesting they didn't live up to their promises and that he was ready to go to war with his former allies. After that, his next mixtape, Before I Go, was filled with even more illuminating lines that seemed to acknowledge a rumor that G-Money had actually hooked up with YoungBoy's sister, as well as shooting some vague threats to his former crew. But beefing aside, it was actually NBA YoungBoy's October 2016 project and accompanying song 38 Baby.
So shoot, really y'all, it seems like NBA don't play about the women that be in his life. His sister, Jania.
The watershed moment
that boy, what they call it here?
Baton Rouge Hood, Northside 38. 38
Ladies man.
To this day sits at a comfortable 100 million views and demonstrating his undying love of straps by affectionately licking an Uzi. Oh, it tastes like batteries. Frankly, there's so many straps in 38 Baby, I can't tell if it's a music video.
What is wrong with this man?
Where are you from?
It tastes like batteries.
Batteries. Batteries. It tastes like batteries.
It must be from
the UK. Wait.
Something like that.
The success of 38 Baby would see YoungBoy's fame rising to new levels. And from there, he managed to land collaborations with fellow Louisiana Baton Rouge legends, such as Kevin Gates appearing on the 38 Baby mixtape track Like Me, and apparently even getting a ghastly YoungBoy tattoo, so you know it's real.
I got a tattoo of him on me because I love him. And you can say what you want to, but just in Louisiana, when we love somebody, we appreciate them while they're alive.
Definitely appearing on fellow Baton Rouge legend Boosie's track, My Little Son. And it would be these major moves that would have YoungBoy's name ringing not just in the streets, but also in the corner offices of record labels. At a certain point in 2016, he signed a
Kevin Gates got a whole tattoo of
NBA.
And now there's
now they supposedly beefing.
Supposedly they're beefing.
Look at that, NBA YoungBoy signs 2 million 5-album deal with Atlantic. You gotta think, 5 albums, that's probably like 3 or 4 years. So he gotta stretch that 2 million over probably 3 or 4 years. And you know how rappers.
No, Atlantic, you wrong for that.
Atlantic, baby.
Atlantic.
You said Atlanta.
Oh, Atlantic. $1 million 5-album deal with
That's nothing.
No, it's not. The way they live their life is nothing.
Legend who apparently had helped Lil Wayne start Young Money and having previously managed Kevin Gates. But hey, sometimes you can rise to the top so fast that it hurts.
Exactly.
Unfortunately for YoungBoy, as soon as he would catch that bag, he'd also be catching a serious case that looked like it was set to derail his career in a big way.
The charge.
In December 2016, just before a scheduled show out of state, YoungBoy was arrested by US Marshals before touching stage at a show in Austin, Texas, in dramatic scenes that were even caught on camera. YoungBoy was charged on suspicion of attempted first-degree murder, apparently stemming from a...
First-degree who?
Murder.
Oh my, Moida.
Stop.
Oh,
he can't control that. I'm saying he can't control how the what I say.
Oh my goodness.
Including Terlondrick Norman, aka NBA Self-Paid, aka Big B, aka NBA Boomer, who was actually later arrested for his involvement in this shooting all the way in 2019, along with NBA Ben 10's real name Ben Fields, and possibly another unnamed person depending on which article you read, I'm not sure. The latter were actually accused of opening fire in a South Baton Rouge street, targeting a group of people standing in the front yard of a house around 2000 block of Kentucky Street. Apparently during this incident, an unidentified passenger of their own car was actually hit in the neck, but luckily survived and was found by police later on in the car a few blocks away.
Police find a man suffering from a gunshot wound to the neck, saying he was shot in a different neighborhood just a few streets away.
Apparently this happened in the midst of a handful of other clappings in the area, all happening within a space of 2 days. It's been suggested by many that YoungBoy and his crew were actually out on the streets looking to avenge the slaying of YoungBoy's 18-year-old cousin Boozilla, real name Keandre Ricks or NBA Boosie, who was apparently gunned down hours earlier. Remember, this is the same guy who had allegedly had a falling out with G-Money over a stolen pack? Running off with a pack? What, this innocent-looking chap? I don't believe it. It seemed like Boozilla and the NBA boys had all made up and become friends again after YoungBoy had fallen out with G-Money and the TBG crew. And further speculation seems to suggest that apparently this incident might have had something to do with Boozilla dropping a diss track calling out a TBG affiliate named Doosa. Now, at this point, I would just like to remind everyone that a lot of the information in this story is pure internet speculation. And since this incident and a lot of the things surrounding NBA YoungBoy in this case haven't been definitively solved, we can't necessarily take everything we hear as fact. I'm just trying to feed you the information that's floating around out there on the internet. Now, eventually, a man named Trayshawn Coates was taken into custody for the Boozilla incident, while Doosa, real name Renard Clifton, ended up in jail on a different first-degree moider charge and the illegal use of a weapon the following year. And even then, apparently 24 hours after that retaliation incident that involved YoungBoy and his boys, yet another drive-by took place on the same block as the
God dang!
Two homes riddled with bullets, with the police alleging a man named Derek Geist to be the...
What?
What?
Geist? His brother was like he in the league, he in the NFL now. He was like the top running back for LSU.
Guys, the 20-year-old brother, yeah. Derek, the 20-year-old brother of LSU star running back Darius Geist, was arrested the next day. For what? Shooting who?
I guess the shooting.
The Boozilla?
No, I don't know if it was him.
Drove the car while two others fired 37 rounds.
God!
During the incident, according to court records, he was booked into parish prison as a principal to 2 counts of aggravated criminal. Okay.
What?
After McGowan allegedly opened fire on Kentucky Street, another drive-by shooting, same block where Ricks was killed, left.
So they just said his brother was the driver.
The driver, along with Coates, the accused triggerman in the Boozilla case only a day before, along with another man, Michael Onyedinma. Now, for his involvement in the retaliation incident, YoungBoy himself caught 2 attempted moider charges, and he was held on a $200,000 bond, as well as appearing in his mugshot wearing a fly-ass Burberry shirt. Got him an additional charge for being a straight fashion killer. Now, at the time, YoungBoy was only 17 years old, but Louisiana is one of the few.
He said should have gave him another charge for being a straight fashion killer. This man got jokes.
And so YoungBoy spent December 2016 to August 2017 in the slammer. But at least for the fans, it wasn't all bad, because whilst NBA YoungBoy was incarcerated, his label got to work and re-released 2 of his projects. They dropped the reloaded edition of Before I Go, removing the song Stuck With Me, Change, and All Night, and adding a 21 Savage remix of Murder, the track Bands, track Fact, where YoungBoy apparently proved how many bands he has by waving them in a shopkeeper's face. Alright YoungBoy, you're rich, I believe you. As well as the tracks How We Play It and the track Win or Lose, where he showed off just what it's like to get signed by apparently sticking a sign to his four-wheeler. Weird flex, but okay. The label also released a reloaded version of his Mind of a Menace 3 mixtape, removing the Murder remix with 21 Savage because they put it on the Before I Go mixtape, as well as taking off the tracks Life and Bootin' in This, and adding the tracks Just Made a Play featuring Moneybagg Yo and Blowin' Up. And so as YoungBoy sat in jail and those tracks picked up heat in the streets, fans would eagerly await his release, which came after he copped a very generous plea agreement. Now, eventually, to pretty much everyone's surprise, YoungBoy was able to cut a sweet-ass deal, copping to the lesser charge of aggravated assault with a firearm. And whether you think it was record labels pulling strings, his newly acquired Illuminati membership card, or the simple banging of juju like Heady One, however you look at it, YoungBoy managed a big finesse here and got his way out of jail. He was sentenced to a prison term of 10 years, suspended, and 3 years of active supervised probation, which essentially meant that he was able to get out of jail, but the potential to go back would always be following him around for a good decade. In addition to that, he was also ordered to pay a $5,000 fine, as well as doing 250 hours of supervised community service, which included apparently doing an anti-violence PSA, which to the disappointment of fans everywhere never seemed to actually surface publicly. And apparently during the sentencing, he had what was described as a tense but respectful back and forth with District Judge Bonnie Jackson. Apparently she admonished him for going out with his boys looking for trouble and finding it. And YoungBoy, to his credit, kept his cool and took full responsibility for everything that had gone down in this incident. A pretty refreshing perspective compared to people like Shotty screaming "Treyway" to the judge. However, Judge Jackson went on to say she didn't care about YoungBoy's celebrity status, and suggesting that his rap music wasn't necessarily helping the violence in the community that he was coming out of. Apparently YoungBoy interjected at this point, reminding her that nobody had actually died in the incident, with her clapping back saying that he's lucky he's such a bad aim, and that he wasn't facing first-degree M charges. And it is also worth pointing out that the court did hear about how YoungBoy had been trying to make a difference in his community by looking after his mother and giving out school supplies. Even if the judge did take a little bit of a dookie on him for having 3 kids at 17 years old. Damn, I didn't even have 3 friends at 17 years old. And
wait, so by 17 he had 3 kids? God dang, NBA, pull out, big dog.
In response to that frankly condescending YoungBoy had promised to do right by his family. For the record, I would like to point out that YoungBoy really is a stand-up guy in this department. Apparently in 2018, he actually found out that one of those kids wasn't even biologically his, with him publicly saying on Facebook, because of the man he is, he's going to continue to raise him like his own. So after his plea was accepted, YoungBoy was released while he was away
at 17.
And so in August 2017, he was back on the streets
run the other way.
Once he got out, he dropped his absolute banger of a song, Untouchable, that ended up hitting number 95 on Billboard. This had a music video that featured a cameo from his newest mentor, Meek Mill, telling him that if he doesn't leave Baton Rouge, he gone back. Following the successful release of Untouchable and himself, he dropped his latest and seemingly most technologically advanced mixtape, AI YoungBoy, in August 2017, hitting number 24 on Billboard. His next single, No Smoke, hit number 61, followed by a lucrative AI YoungBoy tour. But unfortunately for YoungBoy, the violence in Baton Rouge raged on, and it didn't take long for those feuds to rear their ugly heads once again. Now, as always, there's a lot of speculation on the internet about the street politics that seem to whirl around YoungBoy around this time. So for the record, some of what I'm about to discuss will include unproven theories from the internet about what may have been the causes to some of the events that unfolded. And I'm going to avoid pointing the finger at people that haven't specifically been convicted of crimes, whilst also still giving you a rundown of some of the information that's circulated on the internet and in the street. Now, the other major beef YoungBoy was involved in at this time was with G Money. Real name Garrett, former friend and star over at his former label TVG. As soon as YoungBoy got out of jail and dropped Untouchable, racking up views and money, it seemed that beef immediately started cracking, with G Money becoming his #1 op. And around this time, a sensational interview emerged where G Money seemed to be talking extremely reckless on YoungBoy, suggesting they used to be homies, but pointing the finger at YoungBoy, saying that he started sneak dissing once he became successful.
So, I mean, do y'all have history where y'all ever cool, years prior?
Yeah, that little nigga was like my little partner. He used to be like my little brother. He stayed with me and everything. Like everything was still all good until he started, like doing his own thing, getting him a little buzz, getting him a little money. He just got the big head and just started like the feelings he been feeling probably deep down inside that he was scared to put out. He let that out once he got a name and got from down here.
And then dropping maximum shade by being very disrespectful about YoungBoy's sister.
Not really. He mad about his sister too, though.
About his sister?
Yeah, I had fucked her a long time ago.
Initially, they went back and forth on Instagram, but a few days later, G Money would officially go at YoungBoy on wax with the scathing diss track Industry. Hey, I didn't know Trippie Redd was in TVG. Funnily enough, that Trappy doll was actually a reference to
this guy.
Out of there, man.
What I was taught, it was way back in September 2016. G Money's diss track Industry called out YoungBoy and the NBA crew on a number of bases. It had those lyrics that seemed to hint that YoungBoy had been the one who tipped off G Money about Boozilla running off with the pack. It had more lines confirming the hookup and disrespecting YoungBoy's sister. He dissed YoungBoy for sneak dissing, and as the title of the song suggested, it dropped more shade on YoungBoy for signing a record deal and no longer being in the streets, having turned Industry, as well as having another important lyric that seemed to confirm rumours that G Money had actually had a price put on his head. Now, it's been speculated by many people online that YoungBoy's agent, a man named Dump, might have had something to do with potentially putting a price on G Money's head. And most shockingly, within around a month of that track Industry being released, G Money was assassinated in a parking lot as he left a recording studio in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge police are looking into a deadly shooting that claimed the life of a local rapper. Police say someone shot and killed 22-year-old Garrett Burton on Dallas Street around 1:20 last night.
Once this went down, all eyes were on the NBA crew, and a lot of unverified speculation began to circulate. DeAndre Fields, aka Lil Pat or NBA Pat, was eventually arrested in connection to the incident and bailed around June 2019. Interestingly, Pat is actually the brother of NBA Ben 10, aka Ben Fields, who, if you remember, got arrested for being in the car with YoungBoy in that same incident that YoungBoy got 10 years sentenced for, as well as having been rumoured to have had some sort of involvement with the G Money beef, with some wild information floating around on the internet, which I'm definitely not going to get into here. Because let's not forget, everybody is innocent until proven guilty, and plenty of alternative theories exist around what happened to G Money. One of which is that G Money's demise may have potentially happened from a completely unrelated beef stemming from an earlier stick-up gone wrong. And a recent interview with current TVG frontman and former best friend of G Money, Fredo Bang, suggested that he thought that the man charged didn't actually do the deed. Meanwhile, others have looked to NBA affiliate BBG Baby Joe for answers, citing a lyric on his track Buzzer Beater potentially pointing to some information.
That's him right there. That's NBA. That's the shooter.
For NBA.
Yeah, that's the shooter.
For the record, is very
but he's BBG.
Yeah, but BBG, because BBG,
he don't have beef with NBA.
No, because BBG, but BBG and TBG was beefing at the beginning, because NBA Cousin was part of BBG, Boozilla. But then once NBA broke up with TBG, he started NBA, then NBA and BBG got together.
In that track, he drops the line.
Yeah, we're not doing the whole video. We're gonna do a part. Wait, I said part 2.
This all went down when G-Money was walking out the studio, and Herm, referring to NBA Herm, or Herm the Black Sheep, aka the dude that YouTube comments say has NBA YoungBoy's mansion smelling like feet. Nah, no way is it Herm. What, the guy that literally just released a song called Homicide? Seems like a stand-up guy to me. But anyway, regardless of what theory you want to buy into, the rumour that Dump might have had something to do with putting the price on G-Money's head seemed to pick up steam, and unfortunately, he would face some sad consequences soon after this incident.
Yeah.
Man. Alright, guys.
That's funny.
You know what you gotta do to get part 2.
The video's not funny, but that man is funny.
Yeah, that man. What is it? Trap Lord?
Murder.
I
did it good the first time.
Yeah, I forgot. You gotta hear it again and redo it.
So how many likes do we have to do? No, like 100 likes?
Yeah, 100.
We'll make it easy for you.
Yeah.
100 likes. And we will do part 2 of the rest of this video.
Most definitely.
So
because it's entertaining. It's very entertaining.
So we'll do part 2 if this video gets 100 likes. So make sure you like this video. Give it a big fat
thumbs up.
Comment down below also and put part 2. And then just keep giving us more reaction because we're gonna keep coming with the reactions, pranks, and vlogs because Vlogmas is not over. Yeah. So stay tuned, guys. We love y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll be back
with more videos. Peace.